Monday with a Montana Medium, with the Montana Medium. I'm Emily Petroff, and this is Stacy Schumer, the Montana Medium. And you are hanging out with us in another edition here. I think this is we intended on doing every week, and what the hell, life is crazy.
Oh
and
my
it
gosh,
throws some wicked shit at us. And
it
so
did.
I think this is episode 7.
I think so too.
And we're what, like, I don't know, 16 weeks, not quite 16 weeks into the year.
Half the time.
We're doing half the time.
Sickness.
Oh God.
What else happened?
Well,
sickness. Our family just ran rampant.
In January, I was gone a bunch, and then there was just like stuff happening, and as much as we love each other and don't need an excuse to get together, sometimes this is our excuse to get together every week.
This morning coming here, I'm like, I just want to go and chill and see my friend, right? Yeah.
So we thought, because we're on the, well, what is it? Is spring, the first day of spring is actually like March 21st, is that right?
Yes. So it's our March 20th.
20th, okay.
So my niece and nephew are born on the same day. And then my
right.
mom's born the day after. And so those are our spring babies. And it's so funny because when anybody asks me when spring starts, they're like, it's in April, it's in blah, blah. And I'm like, no, it's March.
So we wanted to talk about spring because there's so many things about spring that are cool. And I don't know, I always feel like, and I love the heat and I love the warm, so spring for me is always like, oh my God, we're getting closer. Every day is closer and closer to
Piper.
The heat and the sunshine and the warmth, and so I love it. And there's so many cool things. I feel like for years we always talk about, or I hear you talking about, just like the newness that spring brings, right?
So we're all about cycles, right? In our life, and death and rebirth is a constant cycle that we're doing. And it's really cool because spring is the rebirth, right? Winter is the death. And then we get to walk into spring and it's this amazing time. And I was just telling Emily the last couple mornings I've had worms on my porch, and I'm like, yay, that means it's coming. The worms are out cultivating for all the newness of life that's happening, and it's amazing. So I want to say this: my winter has been really hard. I know that other people are experiencing that too, but man, I just keep driving along, getting ready for some spring, right? So winter was a really low vibration for me. It was a lot of death, not just, I mean, when we hear death, we think people. No, there was a lot of endings that I was experiencing. And so I'm excited.
Yeah. I think
for spring.
I think that's the thing about that makes me excited, even in the stuff, right? Like, even when I'm struggling through the there's always something really lovely on the other side of it, which helps me ride that out a little bit easier than it did years ago. Right. Yeah. So death and rebirth. And so I want everybody to know that can be very difficult, though. So even ending cycles within us, what that's doing is it's making room for us to be able to manifest newness, new life. And so I talked about this with my spirit guides and angels. It was in November. I said, I'm ready to open to new space. I'm ready to bring that in. So they're like, all right, I gotta make the space, right? So that death or the pieces in me that were done needed to be removed, and it really can be like removing a limb, right? So it's really tough. Cycles are tough, but please know that even in this cycle of life and earth, there's always new beauty. There's always a piece that comes that's that tulip
or the lilac, right, that's popping up, that we all go, oh, wow, look at that. And we want to baby it, and we want to just take pictures of it. Well, that's what we should all be doing within ourselves right now. So if anybody is struggling with kind of letting go and moving on, I'm holding space for you, because it's been pretty difficult this year. I was all excited. Every year we're walking into it and we're like, yes, we're ready. It's going to be a great year. Here we come January. And then we're like, oh gosh. Yeah. So it's tough. Yeah. It's tough, but we're here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you think about that transition from this low vibration to this like higher woohoo vibration, I guess two things for me come up. Like, how do you, are there things that you think that you can think of that allow you to transition easier? I feel like sometimes it's like, I don't ever feel the transition going in. Maybe once, but I was ahead of it a little bit, and we talked about it, and you were like, buckle up, sister, because it's coming. And I was like, okay, all right, okay, like I'm in it, right? I just have to remind myself that I'm in it. Rarely, though, do I find myself feeling the transition in. It's like, fuck, I'm in it, and it feels so bad, and weird, it's already there.
Right.
So, but I think I feel like, and I hear from a lot of people, and I feel like we've talked about before, the transition out. You feel that, right? Don't you think you can feel it?
A lot of people in readings that I'm seeing where it's going to be going like this, it's really cool, because guides will say, you will absolutely feel that shift. So when you feel that shift, oh man, totally connect to it. So that higher vibration brings us up a little bit, that higher frequency. So then all the stuff down here, right, that we're kind of mucking through, the universe is like, here you go, we're gonna pull you up here. And when they pull us up here, when it's at that higher frequency, we can manifest some really, really cool things. Yeah. So manifestation, new cycles, all of that. We're in a spiral, right? So whatever you want to call it, spiral, cycles, whatever. We are in charge of what we want to have happen. And I think a lot of times in life, we're limited. So many things try to stop us and limit us. Fear, right? Yeah. We're in some big time fear stuff right now with... we weren't gonna touch on it, but the coronavirus, fear, right? So that happens within us too. And think about it. We're coming out of death, out of winter, out of the quietness and the darkness. Yeah. We're coming into light, and we're coming into spring. So what happens? Fear's like, nope. Yeah. I'm going to hold this down. Yeah. We're going to hold on to this. No, guys. Step above it. Understand we are in charge of that. We're in charge of removing fear from us and moving forward and manifest some really cool stuff. Anxiety is really hard right now. A lot of people are experiencing anxiety. Breathe. Go outside. Sit in the sun.
Be present, because that's the one way, or one way, not the one way to combat anxiety is to be present. Because anxiety generally, and I think it was Lao Tzu that said this, right? If we're feeling anxious, it's because we're spending time in the future, right? Mentally, right? If you're feeling depressed, it's because you're spending time in the past. But if you can be really present in this very moment, whether it is, and nature does help a lot with that.
So I was just going to, do you know what's coming through right now from guides? Let's just say this, because they're like, here, we're going to chime in on your guys' little thing. So what they want you to do, so if you're feeling anxiety and if you're having a hard time being present, they want you to go outside and sit quietly. And this could be a meditation. People hear meditation and think, oh my gosh, I got to clear my mind. I got to clear my space. They do not want you to do that in this. What they do want you to do is go outside. You do not even have to close your eyes. They want you to sit there, bare feet, and listen to all the noises around you. Listen to the infinite energies. Hi, bootleg. Around you, and embrace that. Hear the trees, hear the birds. Gosh, those birds have been chirping, and I love it.
I was hearing them so much.
I thank them.
Yeah.
I thank them. I'm like, hi, thank you, thank you.
The level of presence that it takes, even just to focus on that for a minute. 1 minute is a long time. Man. I've been doing planks for a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a long time, you guys, okay? For a minute.
I did 10 sit-ups for 3 days in a row. I told her, I'm like, I'm doing 10 sit-ups every day.
Love it.
Did it 3 days in a row.
Kelly was helping you.
Was.
Oh, I love
it.
Okay,
go on. I'm so sorry.
No. So for a minute, right, the level of presence that it takes to focus on that for a minute is a lot, because you can't think about all the other things that are going on. And by the way, if you feel relief in that 1 minute, you know that you're in more control. You're more in control. You're more in control of what's going on up here and what you're feeling than we often give ourselves credit for, right?
Right.
Just that level of like focusing on something else creates that like,
bring it down.
Instead of feeling,
bring it down. So every time I get done, Wednesdays I'm at Barjan's all day long, and it's a full day for me. It's jam-packed, and I really have to give myself a minute before I walk into my home to do just that. So I sit outside and I'm like, okay, I hear this. Even the car that drives by, right? Oh, I hear that. I hear a bird. I hear some kids way off. Oh, there's another car, right? And it really does bring me from being way up here down to that space. Yeah. Now, 5 minutes later, we may be up in that space again, because we give ourselves permission to go to that. But then just take a deep breath. Breath work is so important too. I'm learning this more and more from Piper, and she'll do yoga classes that are meditation and breath work, and it really makes a difference.
Totally.
So I've just plowed through my life the last 37 years knowing all this information, but not necessarily utilizing it all the time with what my guides say and are suggesting even to other people. I just kind of plow through, and every once in a while I'll grab a thing or two and use it. It's amazing what they talk about when it comes to healing, moving forward, being present, holding space for another person, that really gives you a quality of life that is amazing. It's monumental.
Done you more than a lot of people. I mean, the people that are close to me know that I'm like crazy doer all the time, right? But you get that on a whole other kind of level. That's great for you and terrible for you all at the same time.
I love it.
I have done less in the last, 6 weeks.
I know.
Than maybe ever in my entire life, like in terms of a chunk of time. And I have had less fear, less like worry, less like, there's still some of that because I'm like doing new things and like embracing this new thing, but it's like as soon as I allowed myself to just sit in the silence and I am meditating more than I've ever meditated. I'm being really consistent with that, but in a different like I was busy. All the time, like all the time, and I got a lot of shit done, except for that it didn't really do anything for my heart and my soul. Like it was, but like I don't know, it's just really interesting what has been created for me, and I feel like it's like this whole idea of spring and then it's like the quieting of my vibration, right? The quieting of my mind has created a space for me to really look at what's important to me in my life, and all that shit that I was freaking doing was just like, what the fuck are you doing that for? Like, God, stop doing that. So, and I didn't know that it was a choice, really. I did, but not,
It's amazing. I'm going to read you a little bit now, and I'm going to open this space to that, if that's okay, totally. And let your guides kind of come through and talk for a minute. So they're like, Emily, we're around you all the time, following you. We're throwing stuff down. And then the moment you took a step back and gave a little distance between you and all of this stuff that's happening around here, there's major clarity that comes with that. And one thing that they do want you to know is, I'm going to try to say this exactly how they're showing it.
Say it again.
So in that space of silence and with just you and the clarity that's coming through, all of this stuff is still going on out here.
Right.
It's still going. It's still flowing. It's still there.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can still get you to that if that's what you feel like you need to do. But in this space and time and the clarity that's coming through, you are absolutely busting from one part of yourself. Talk about rebirth, right?
Yeah.
Death and rebirth. You're embracing things and letting go of structures and breaking those things down in the silence.
Yeah.
So even though it may not be busy out here, it's very busy internally.
Yeah.
When you silence that space, you can really see what is the most important and intuitively connect to your own stuff.
Man, that I think is the thing that's has gotten so clear for me, is that there are times in my life where I can remember it. It kind of feels like a pause, except for that I'm not on pause, but the rest of the world is still going. And the times that was that I can remember like really feeling that before now was when my youngest son was born, Kyler, because it was pretty I wouldn't call it a traumatic experience because it was scary because he was 4 weeks premature and there was all of these things going on and we had to do, like, it was like, you can only do this, right, in order to take care of him and make sure that he's going to get what he needs to get. So it's like for 6 weeks or so that I can remember being so quiet, right, and just doing nothing but taking care of him every day. And that was a huge thing, but not compared to like the busyness that I normally create in my life, right? And remember sitting there thinking like, and the world is still fucking turning, still rocking.
There's still stuff happening. There's still all of these things that are going on. But what is most important is what is happening with us. Yeah. And that really is the most important thing.
And I think the thing that's interesting to me too now is that I was so focused on the external manifestation of things and really like finding and creating and living in my purpose every day. Right? There was just this seeking that was happening over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And
it's exhausting.
Oh my God.
Emily,
so
sometimes
tired.
I look at Emily and I'm like, whoa, girl, I am tired. I'm a napper. I know the importance of some peace and quiet and time and space and that. But for Em, it's different. We're all so different in how we're running. That doesn't mean it's wrong. Like sometimes after my naps, I'm like, geez, I didn't do anything today, but play with my kiddos, take a nap, right? Yeah. But for you, I love the fact too that you're learning to have that silence in that space without the universe doing it for us. Right. If we can listen to ourselves and understand, oh, I need to pull back a little bit, right? I need to come back here and I need some silence and I need to figure out what's happening. Not anybody else can figure that out for us, right?
Well, I think that's a really important point because I do think that we don't think we have the power to slow our lives down, to stop the momentum that we've created.
Because of what? Fear.
Well, right? Yeah, or just
fear take over?
Yeah, I think it is definitely. So many things are fear-based in the way that we act. Because, so it is about fear. Yeah, absolutely. Because what was happening is this like quest to, like make money so that I could have these experiences that I want to have and not have to tell my kids no and right and not no and like no but like can we go do this? No, we can't because we don't have the money, right? Or we don't have this or we don't have that. So more so those kinds of things, right? And I was raised in an environment where money is a very important part of life, right? Me too. And yet, like, I will tell you that on a lot of levels, I still enjoy having those experiences. I still enjoy being able to bring the money in to be able to do some of those things, but not at the level that or not at the exchange of energy that I was doing it at before, right? So that part for me, I think, is really important. And I see this from a lot of my clients, is that we are in control of like stopping the craziness, but we don't think we can until something crazy happens. Right? The universe
will say,
creates this. You're not gonna
hold
rest.
down the stop sign, and we're like, wee!
You're not gonna rest. Well, here you go.
We're gonna give it to you.
You're gonna rest now.
You guys, it'll be 2 weeks this Sunday. I was doing a reading for someone that is very busy, very active, and doesn't know how to slow down and start a new cycle of some more peace, not so much working in that work space environment and going and going and going. And it had a lot to do with fear and money and things like that. And it's crazy. The person's talking to me about all the things that they're going to do, even if they sell the business and even if they do this. And the whole time the guides were like, he needs to slow down. He needs to slow down. Let him know that we're going to pull the brakes a little bit if we can't turn and look out here a little, because we need to be out here. It's time. No joke. 1 week later, the appendix ruptured and we're having surgery and we're slowing down. And I just went, oh, shoot. Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah, totally.
And the person is, it's actually my dad, Bill, is in a space now that's like, all right, I'm kind of enjoying sitting and reading and listening to myself. He's very amazing how he embraces everything that happens. But I just remember going, oh, man. Yeah. Oh, man. Here we go.
I've experienced that so many times in my life. Like, I literally would run myself into the ground. Yeah. And it was almost like for a long time, I wore the things that I did as a badge of honor, right? And yet I was still pissed off about them. Like, I don't want to do all of this shit, right? But yet I would continue to participate in it. And it is so interesting how in control of that we are. Because when we get the flu, or when we get the whatever the hell we might come down with, the appendix rupturing, the whatever it might be for whatever of us, we can't do all that other shit. No. And yet the world still keeps on turning.
It's still in its own cycle. This is another beautiful thing that I love. I love. No matter what we're experiencing, the earth, she is still cycling. She will still cycle. And so a lot of times, even in my own experiences of fear or hurt or anything, I have to tell myself, we're still moving forward. This will not feel this way in a week, in 2 days, in 3 hours. I was just telling my sister-in-law that she did some major growth this week. So everybody that's experiencing some major fear right now, man, take your power back. Move forward. She was in such a fear-based spot that was like, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this to you. And she went, no, you're not. I am taking control of this, and I am stepping outside of that fear, and I am moving forward. And we were like, yay! But listen, 5 minutes before we did that, we were in a state of mind of, holy crap, I can't even breathe. It's hard to even be present. You know, and I just sat there with her and I said, listen, there's always a choice. There's always growth, and let's do this. It was amazing. Yeah. But everybody, I feel like, man, my dad, my sister-in-law, me, you, all of us. Totally. So we really have to embrace spring and go, here we go. Here's the cycle of life right here in front of us. And she keeps going, right? Our earth, nature, it always keeps going. I know I'm rambling. This is how readings are too. Another thing that I will do with my family that is really important, and we've done it more this year than ever because I know how important it is. To be present, we have to remove ourselves from our home space. So we have land out on the South Hills, and it's amazing. But another place that we went to just to get out was Four Corners. My heart is there. It's sacred ground that's right here in Billings. It's as you go to the pictograph caves, you can barely see it. It's this little sign that says Four Corners. And
is it Four Corners or Four Dances?
I don't know. Maybe it's 4 dances.
I
always say the name wrong.
That's okay. I think it's 4 dances.
4 seasons.
4 something.
4 something. It's amazing. When I go there, I don't hear anything. And it's crazy because it's right by the interstate. It's right by Lockwood, the refineries, South Billings.
I'm gonna go there today.
We should go. Yeah. We should go. Mm-hmm. So every time I go, it is amazing, and it's so solid, and it's so grounding. So everybody should try to find something like that to do. Because it's been really wonky this year. Yeah. I've dealt with some really hard things. Yeah. But I told my guys I would love abundance. So they're like, all right, we got to make room for abundance. It's like, and I'm like, oh, God. Bye. Yeah. And that's what I've learned to do, is hold the space for others that are experiencing this. And everybody that I'm close to is. Yeah. And clients. And it's tough, but we're in spring. Yeah. Let's embrace it.
Creation. What is it? The other thing that I think about too in regard to spring is like, what can you create, right? Like, what can you bring out?
Manifest.
That's been inside of you for a long time, and it could be something like I was talking to this gal the other day who does these really, part of her business is this really cool thing where you like craft, right? And she was telling me that when you're crafting, your brain is working on this, or the part of your brain that's working is, it combats a lot of like mental illness, right? So it's really a healthy, crafting is really a healthy space to be in for somebody who struggles from mental illness, because it uses a totally different part of your brain. And so I think we can use, all of us experience mental illness at some point in time, right? Like have some variation of that. So to be able to create and to think about things in a totally different way, or to just have a conversation. For me, I'm such a talker. Like, one of my love languages is words of affirmation. So I love to have conversations. So
I didn't know. I know.
So love that. It's just about like just talking to somebody, right? And like contemplating all the things of the world, right? Or whatever that might be. I can remember from being a super young child and wanting to stay up late, but not wanting to stay up late just to do anything to stay up late. I wanted to talk. Oh yeah. Right? Like I would talk until 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, especially if I was talking to somebody who got me or who was like on the same kind of vibration. Like, oh my God, I could totally do that all night long, and then that just like evolved as I got older. So just find the things that you love so much and embrace those and bring about newness.
And if you're ready to let go of something, really ask your guides and angels to help you let go of that. It's not brutal. Sometimes I think we make it like removing a limb, right?
Totally.
Because we don't know, it's new, it's going to be weird, I don't know how to work without my arm, right? Well, we do. And so really ask your angels and guides to help come in and fill the space for you to be able to remove that. They will bring pieces, gifts, right? They're like, drop down the gift. And we're like, oh, wow, thank you. Even with letting go and releasing these pieces that have been hard, I have been gifted in such beautiful ways of things. I'm changing, I'm shifting. My gifts are moving to a different level. So even though, I think about February was so hard for me, I look back at it now, and with the support and with guides and angels, man, I'm in a totally different space and I'm loving it. So we just have to keep moving forward, right? Earth, Mother Nature is still gonna move forward. We should do it with her. So gracefully, not like, oh God, here we go. Oh my God, I'm so like that too. I'm like, wait, right? And then finally like, just go with it, right? So we need to do that and help each other through it. So go out in nature, man. Embrace the infinite energies that are around us like that. They can really bring us down and make us realize it's not just about me and this fear. I'm still moving forward, right? It's about so many other things that are taking place. The moon this month, man, coming out of Mercury retrograde, that was kind of like, sticking my finger in my eye and twirling it around. It was nuts. Even our animals were completely basket cased. But it was okay. And I feel really good. I woke up and I felt great. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Mercury retrograde is about really going inside and making room and shifting things out. So as we walk into spring, I think what a better way than to have, the universe kind of go in there and dig stuff out.
It's a great time to plant seeds and water them right now.
My husband is a maniac. You should see our table of seeds.
Physically. I was talking about inside of you. Okay.
But us too.
Yeah.
We're moving, we're shifting, we're seeing that our life this way was not, it wasn't that it wasn't working. We're just ready to move into a new spot.
Yeah.
And so seriously, Chase has been planting basil, lavender, all kinds of things. So my table right now, if you come to my home for a reading, is full of pots and flowers and all kinds of things. And it really is representation of what we are doing, and it's amazing. But we had to make room.
I love it.
I had to make room on my table.
Yeah, and we had to make room inside.
Right.
So now it's an opportunity. If you went through a really tough time, or if you're on the end of that, it's a good time to plant some new seeds and to really water them, right?
So this year, it's so crazy. Guides, even this far into the year for me, I see cycles even in people's readings and energy that's shifting and moving. I love astrology, but I don't really follow it. My sister and some of my dear friends do, and so I kind of hear things with that. But I've noticed that we are all kind of coming out of this shift. There was a lot of truth that was brought in these past few months. And walking into spring, into the summer, into the fall is going to be a lot of high energy for a lot of people. Seeing that truth within us can be difficult, but a lot of times the guides are saying we are planting seeds so we can walk into these next couple of years and watch them grow. A lot of my readings have said that, specifically for certain things with people, but I'm like, all right,
that's cool.
This is very cool, and we should do that.
Because even amongst the death, right, of winter, there is still life, right? Like thinking about like what I just thought of is the trees, right? So it's like you plant this little seedling and it starts to grow, and then winter comes. It doesn't die.
Nope.
It just
loses its stuff.
It's just dormant, right? It's just hanging out in there until spring again, and then growth, and then growth, and then it grows, and then So yeah,
it's very cool. So go outside, do something. Do that little bit of meditation that they talked about. Just close your eyes and sit and listen. And it's really cool. Even what I'm seeing right now, I just see the moon and I see the new moons and I see trees as I close my eyes. And listen to the things that are around you. It's ever changing, ever moving. Let's also do that as well. It's refreshing. There's a lot of clarity when you can distance yourself from the everyday stuff a little bit and just know we are here. We all of us have a very important thing to do here within ourselves. That's where it starts. So let's all just hold the space for others to do it. I'm letting everybody know, if anybody's been struggling these past few months, please reach out to me. I would love to help. You feel better, have a little bit more direction. I've been experiencing it too, and I've reached out to the people, even with my guides and angels right there. They're kind of like, what? You gotta do your work down here as a human too. So but I'm excited for spring.
Me too.
And I'm a fall winter woman. I'm like, I don't mind the darkness. I like it. I like overcast days and snowy days, and I like it at night with the fireplace and all the coziness. I am so ready for spring.
And it's so interesting because I feel like this year, I feel less like that than ever before because we had such an easy winter this year.
Like, I know, I kind of got gypped on my
you did, big time. Yeah.
But it was okay. I'm ready to step out of, not that the darkness doesn't have beauty and mystery and such gorgeous, beautiful things there, but I'm really ready for this new life and what's going on there. I'm excited.
I think that's about it.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys have an amazing week, and we will hopefully see you next week.
We'll see.
And this was another edition of Mondays with the Montana Medium.
I'm always like, it's the Montana Mondays with the medium. Chase laughs at me all the time. I'm like, we got to film for the Monday mediums. It's like, Stacey. Another thing too, if you guys have a topic, questions, whatever, let us know. Even if you feel comfortable private messaging us, so you're not out there with your questions. I would love that. It would be
absolutely. Great. Absolutely. All right, guys, if you need us in the meantime, we are here for you. Yeah. Reach out to us. We would be happy to support you through whatever it is that you're going through or help you create whatever it is that you're wanting to create. Have an amazing week, and we will see you
spring
next time. Happy
solstice.
Spring. Yes.
All right.
Okay, bye, guys. Have a good day.